This is the Demon Core, and it is one of the most deadly objects in the world and has claimed the lives of 2 physicists. It is a 14-pound sphere of subcritical plutonium that was designated to be used as a core of a nuclear bomb in World War II. But after 2 nuclear bombs were dropped on Japan and their prompt surrender, the bomb was disassembled and studied. Researchers wanted to know the answer to the question, what does it take to make a subcritical object go critical? Traditionally, nuclear bombs are essentially bombs with thin bombs. The subcritical plutonium is surrounded by traditional explosives, which then compress the plutonium until it becomes critical, which at that point it releases an insane amount of energy. So once the Demon Core arrived at Los Alamos in New Mexico, researchers wanted to test a neutron reflective mirror. In short, this essentially redirected all the energy of the core back at itself, in a sense bringing it close to criticality without explosives. And you may ask yourself, why did they do this? Well, they wanted to see if they could get away with making nukes with less radioactive material, and this would also cause the core to not explode but create a blast of radiation. Legendary physicist Richard Feynman said that it was like tickling the tail of a sleeping dragon. After 2 years, this test would take the lives of 2 physicists, and possibly many others. Harry Daghlian was the first life claimed by the core. While running the test by himself, he was placing the neutron reflector around one of the cores while watching the measurement of his Geiger counter. He created an assembly that triggered a warning from his measuring devices that said if he continued, he'd probably regret it. So Harry began disassembling the reflective blocks very carefully until he accidentally dropped one of the blocks. Instantly, the Demon Core went supercritical and sent a burst of deadly radiation at him. Quickly, he pushed the bricks off the table to end the chain reaction, and you could actually see the burns on his hand from when he moved the blocks off the table. Harry Daghlian died 25 days later from organ failure and is suspected to receive the highest dose of radiation at that time. Not an award I personally want to achieve. Louis Slotin filled Harry Daghlian's shoes, and despite the warning, he kept doing the experiments, and instead of using reflective bricks though, he changed it up and used a reflective half sphere, and carefully lowered the core into the reflective sphere. Then a spherical lid was then put over the top of it, but a gap would be placed to ensure the core wouldn't go critical. But Slotin wouldn't use the fail-safe spacers around the sphere. Instead, he used his bare hands and a flathead screwdriver. He did this to bring the core really close to criticality. I'm not really sure why he would even want to do that, but he did. Now, while doing a demonstration, Slotin's screwdriver slipped and the sphere closed for a brief second, instantly bringing the Demon Core to criticality. The core flashed blue, and the hot top half of the sphere was quickly lifted off the core. All of the scientists ran out of the room, and Slotin told them to immediately come back and write down exactly where they had been standing in order to figure out how much of their life they had just lost. Slotin's immediate words after the incident was, "Well, I guess that does it." Louis Slotin died 9 days later in the same hospital where Harry Daghlian died. Though if we are looking for a silver lining, Slotin did take gold for the most radiation ever taken by a human being. And if you're looking for some perspective, Ground Zero at Hiroshima had about half the amount of radiation that Slotin took in that split second. The Demon Core itself was then destroyed and melted down and distributed throughout the US stockpile. And that was the story of the most dangerous object on Earth, the Demon Core.